Science was
That's
declining.
reality. When the Muslims hold on to this Quran, they were the peak of civilization. But when they abandoned it, they fell.
Okay, who are the right Muslims, the Shia or the Sunni?
Well, right Muslim. Anyone who believes in the Quran, that's what I'm talking about. Now you're talking about political differences between the Shias and the Sunnis.
It's not a political difference. It's not as simple as that.
Do they have different Qurans?
Listen,
Can you answer the question? Do the Sunnis and Shias have different Qurans?
Yes.
No.
Which world do you live in?
I heard
Just to make it
26
clear.
different Qurans.
The Shia don't even see Muhammad as the main prophet.
Are you okay?
I am okay.
Okay, I don't think so.
Qurans.
So now, why don't you ask?
There are
There
many
have been
different
religious
theologies.
wars between the
Mazhab.
Shia and the Sunni.
One second.
There have been religious
Why
wars
don't
between
you
guys.
do us the favor, after this discussion, there are many Shias here, and ask them, do you have a different Quran than the Sunnis?
Why does it matter?
Because I'm saying it's the Quran, the central contributing factor. So your side point about Sunni and Shia doesn't matter, because it's the Quran that was a single
Do the
contributing factor.
Protestants have
So
a
now-
different Bible to the Catholics?
Yes.
Do the Orthodox Christians have a different Bible to the Catholics?
When you see Greek Orthodox, yes.
Yes. They do?
Yeah.
Do they?
Number of books are different.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So you have 66, 73, 82, 80, 79, different number of books. But Islam is not like this. So what I'm saying, to understand the challenge of the Quran, where Quran says, if this was not from God, you'd find many discrepancies and contradiction, because you would expect a book that talks about so many things, from example of anthropology to science and biology and so on, it would make mistakes, because it is not, the Prophet who delivered the Quran is not proficient in every single science. Like you are not a physicist, and if I asked you to quote me the gravitational constants to 10 decimal places, you'll get it wrong. So what I'm saying is, when the Quran challenges something of this nature,
That is such a dead end of an argument. You're telling me to recite things only a physicist could, and then when I can't recite it to you, you tell me, oh, you can't recite it, that means you're wrong.
No.
That's such a
no,
fallacy,
no,
such a shameless
no.
fallacy.
Try to understand the point I'm arguing. I am saying your argument that anyone can write something without contradiction. I am saying this is not the
Anyone. Not just anyone.
you said you.
I never said that.
Did you not say you can write things without contradiction?
Yeah, many people can
Right,
write things
you
without
can
a
write.
contradiction, but
Right.
not anyone can
But
do
the
it.
difference between you and the Quran is this: Quran talks about astrophysics and biology. I've repeated that 3 times now already. You do not know astrophysics,
That's,
and perhaps you don't know biology
that's
either.
anecdotal
Hang on,
evidence.
wait a
Anecdotal
second.
evidence.
Hear my argument. Do you know what my argument is? Good. So, not being a proficient in a particular field, when the Quran is able to make a statement of physical phenomena and not contradict the reality, you know that there's a likelihood of making a lot of errors and mistakes. Like, for example, if you are going to quote, without being a physicist or knowledge of physics, the gravitational constants or the Planck's constants to certain decimal places, you'll get it wrong because you don't know this knowledge. It's not about whether you know it or not. I'm saying the possibility of you making the mistakes are far greater. Like the Quran would have far greater possibility of making mistakes if it didn't know the subject. But when the Quran does talk about this subject and it doesn't get it wrong, it tells you that where does this knowledge come from with certainty and confidence. And it tells you that you will not be able to find a discrepancy or an error or a contradiction.
Okay.
That is my
How
argument.
did the Mayans create a calendar that predicted all the solar eclipses up until the Mayan calendar ended, which was 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was a little bit later, maybe 2012, probably. But they made a calendar that predicted every single solar eclipse ever, way after they existed.
Did they make any
How did it
predictions
happen?
for something else like that they got it wrong?
Listen, your predictions are very preposterous because
please,
you are
please.
applying
You brought
things
the Mayans,
in the Quran
right?
which
Mayans.
are figures of speech
Excuse
and
me.
are very
No, this is what you
things
think,
very
wrongly.
open to interpretation,
You
and you're
think
saying, oh, what they mean is this specific thing or this specific
You haven't got a
thing.
clue what you're talking about.
I have had people here telling me that the Quran is right because they predicted that in the future, different Muslim people they will compete between each other, creating tall buildings. And he gave me the example of Dubai, how they have the tallest building in the world in Dubai. And I told him, listen, man, that's a self-fulfilled prophecy. They read about that stuff. They decided, they spoke about this very high tower. Let's do it. Sounds good. They had enough money to do it.
I give you that. Very interesting. The people of Dubai They haven't got anything else to do but to fulfill a prophecy to make Islam
They're
true.
creating islands.
Yeah.
Islands out of nowhere
Yeah,
because they have
And
enough money for it.
Yeah.
It's exactly because they have nothing else to do
Did
with
they have
the
the
money.
provisions
They're
earlier?
developing their country.
Did they have these resources earlier and the money?
No, they have it because of the oil.
Right. So now imagine now people of Ukraine. In the future, you know what they do? They beam you out, like from here to another place.
They transport what?
Beam out. You know, Star Trek and others?
Beam you
They
up.
should beam you from one place to the other.
Beam you?
And no one can do that, only the people
Teleport.
of Ukraine.
Teleport.
Okay, they
Right,
will
right.
teleport.
Ukraine. Now, can you envisage that now? That the Ukrainian people will do it?
As far as I know, we can't teleport yet.
People of Ukraine.
What's the question?
No. What gives you the guarantee now to say people of Ukraine will teleport and beam people in the future?
Nothing gives me that
What are the
guarantee.
Right.
percentages that he'll be right?
Would you even say that with confidence?
No.
Right, precisely my point. When the hadith is narrated that this desert-dwelling nomad Arab, barefooted, doesn't have even sandals and shoes, they will compete against each other in towering the tallest buildings in the world. So this is what we're talking about with certain utmost confidence in the future
Twisting
prediction.
is not exactly like that.
Right. So what I'm saying
It's
is,
not exactly
in
like
your
that.
in your
You
estimation,
edit.
excuse me, in your estimation, if you were to give predictions of X, Y, and Z, and so on, there's a chance that you're going to get something wrong because you're not an all-rounder. You don't know everything. The Quran, as I repeatedly saying, talks about various things. I can give you some examples from my iPad if you wish, from science and astronomy, biology, mathematics,
Okay,
and
give
so
me
on.
give me examples of biology, for example.
Okay, biology, skin. The Quran talks about how the people who will be in hellfire, and when they are punished, as often their skin are burned through, God will recreate fresh skin so that they might feel the chastisement, the punishment, the torture, the suffering.
It proves nothing. What does that prove in terms of biology? What
Okay,
does that
think about
prove?
it. What does it prove? What
No,
happens?
you tell me. You tell me. I'm baffled.
When you
That
have
proves
a
nothing.
when you have a first degree burn, like you go into a very hot sun,
Okay.
and you got red, almost face, you have a first degree burn. Can you feel the pain? You can feel
Be
the pain.
serious. Everybody knows about that. That's basic
Everybody
knowledge.
knows what?
If you go to the sun unprotected, you will get burned
Okay, hang
by
on.
the sun.
Good.
It's no proof.
Good. So
Quran
you'd know,
proves nothing
so you'd
with
feel
that.
the pain, right? Okay. What about third degree burn? Whenever burn third degree, that you've burnt the fat, the skin, and only the muscles is now, and the bone is visible. If I poke through a big needle, would you feel the pain?
Obviously, I would.
Precisely the point of the Quran. That's what people.
Are you serious? Do you need to read the Quran to know that if you burn off your skin until the muscle and bone, if you pierce it with a needle, you will feel pain? Are you serious right now? Because
friend.
you're not having any luck converting me or anybody else.
Prepare for the shock. You would not
it's
feel.
it's a
you
big
would not
shock,
feel
man. It's a big
any
shock.
pain.
You won't
Ask
feel
me
pain,
why.
mate. Were you on the-
Why would you not feel any pain whatsoever?
Well, the nerves might go berserk because of the
It's not go berserk.
burn.
The nerves are all burnt. So you would not feel.
If you burn until the very bone, if you don't have muscle, you don't have nerves.
That's what I'm telling you.
You said muscle. You said
No,
until
I'm
the
saying
muscle.
when the whole skin is burned through, all you're left with muscle and bones. Would you feel pain? The answer is no.
If you pierce
So,
the bone, if you break the bone, you will
He's saying
still
if
feel
you
pain.
only had muscles and bones.
I am saying
feel
if you
pain, you
pierce
Okay,
through
only
this,
only the bone
No,
itself.
muscles and bones.
muscles
muscle and
and
bone,
so
you will feel
would
pain.
not
You
feel.
will feel pain. If there are muscles, you will feel pain. If there are nerves, you will feel
Where
pain.
are the pain receptors?
In the nerves,
And where are the nerves?
in the muscles.
Okay, so we have to make a move, right? We have to make a move because the discussion shouldn't proceed anymore because there's no point talking to someone.
The nerves are.
You have no idea what you're talking about, mate. That's what the problem
There's no point talking to someone who
Listen,
doesn't
not
understand
all
the basic
the nerves-
science.
Not
Can you
all the
explain?
nerves are in the
Hold on.
muscles.
I am talking about-
Not all the nerves
Where-
are in
okay.
the muscle. Let's get this straight. Not all the nerves are in
Excuse
the
me.
muscles.
Where are the pain receptors located in the human body? On the surface of the body.
Where are they? You
In the
tell us.
nerves.
You tell us. Where
Where are the pain receptors? Not
Okay,
talking
where are
about-
they? Tell me.
Did you know?
Tell me, where are they?
Do you know? is
Did
what he's
you
asking
know?
first.
No, apparently I don't know. They
No,
are
what's your-
inside our body. The nerves are the pain receptors.
Somewhere in your body. Somewhere in the body. Where are they? You know, you tell us.
I'll show you. That's even better, isn't it? Good.
I'm interested. It's something
There are
different.
some nerves that are inside the muscles, and there are other
I'm not
nerves
talking about
that are
nerves. I'm
not
talking
inside
about the
muscles.
pain receptors.
So what are you talking about?
Probably doesn't recognize you, huh? Okay. So, I can find that example. Here is a cross section, as you can see, of the skin. Yep. As you can see, these are the hair follicles.
Yes.
And these are different blood supplies, different endings. So all of these receptors are located all here, right?
They are
Different
nerves.
places.
We have nerves in our skin, but we don't only have them in our skin.
The pain receptors are located there. So you're saying that this person, when he's going through, is going to feel muscle pain, right? So when a first-degree burn patient goes to a hospital, sorry, not first, third degree, you're saying he requires or she requires a lot of morphine and opioids, right? But what you will see that this patient doesn't actually have that kind of pain sensation. Why? Because all the pain receptor connects in your nerve, sending the impulse of pain to the brain and bringing it back to that place is all destroyed and damaged. Quran says, those who reject our signs, we shall cast into the fire. As often their skins are roasted through, we shall change them for fresh skins, that they may taste the punishment, for Allah is exalted in power and
Taste
wise.
their punishment. If
Yes.
they remove the nerves, they won't taste the
But
punishment.
he
because they don't
replaces
feel-
with new
But-
skin.
Oh, does he replace it
Yes.
with skin?
Change them for fresh
So
skin.
they won't feel pain
Oh my
either
God.
way.
No,
if
skin
they
is the
burn
fresh
off the
skin.
skin and put new
Listen.
unharmed
There
skin.
is nothing, there is nothing
way.
miracle.
Listen,
Have you
listen.
lost your mind?
Fresh skin,
Have you lost
fresh
your mind?
nerves, fresh pain receptors. You burn, you feel the pain, and then it's burnt again fresh. So every time you constantly
Again and
feel
Okay,
the
so you're
punishment.
using this to prove
Again
that
and
if
again.
we burn off the skin, we don't feel any pain. You're using this as
I'm
the
using this to demonstrate to you this knowledge comes from a wise, look, the exalted, the wise creator who not only threatens people with the hellfire, those who are going to misbehave, but he even demonstrates the mechanism and the proof of that mechanism, how he's going to punish them.
But there is no miracle in this.
Sorry,
Somebody
hold
get
on, hold on.
burned,
So do you understand that?
it will be the
you
skin
understand that? I
first
don't
to
think
get
so.
burned. Somebody in the fire, it will be the skin which get affected and get burned.
Right. So coming
There is
back
not a
to the
miracle in
Quranic
it.
presentation,
Is
When the
is-
person gets third-degree burns, its body goes into a shock. The person usually passes out. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah, but in,
when the
person-
person
in
passed
the
out,
afterlife,
the person
there's
doesn't
gonna be
feel
no
any
death.
pain.
and then when the person recovers,
when the
what
person
happens?
passes out.
And what happens
if you
after?
inflict enough pain on the person, if you
And
cut
then
the
what?
person's arm, the person passes out.
And then
How
you
is
wake
the
up,
bone get
the person-
broken?
and then when you
Feel
wake up,
pain.
and you wake up, what happens?
Are you?
When you wake up, what happens? You
guys
didn't
are
even
crazy.
know that you would not feel pain.
How about a bone?
You are the nonsense. You are the one who's spewing
Is the
nonsense.
skin get burned? There is nothing.
That's the problem. You're not
You're
listening.
listening
There
to
is
this
nothing
bullshit.
amazing.
You're saying it's
Oh, now it's
science.
bullshit.
You're saying
You're
it's
getting stressed out,
science
bro.
now.
You look like you're getting stressed
You're
out.
saying it's science.
Your intelligence is
It's not
catching
science.
up, so
Okay.
you're getting stressed
If
out.
your body burns,
looks like
it is
You know,
the
Muhammad
skin
just
get burned.
invented science.
He
Out
just
of nowhere.
You know what? He
Out
just
of nowhere.
he just knew
religion?
from.
What's your religion?
Why
What's
were
your religion?
the Arabs
Okay,
the
what's your
most
religion?
developed
What's your
people
religion?
at in the earth at once,
One second.
immediately?
Describe to
I
me.
don't have a religion.
Okay, hang on. Describe to me a mountain.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's your problem. Because you
okay.
don't see.
Sorry, brother,
But
Mansur,
you
can I
might
make
be
it
wrong.
Listen,
I
you
accept
wanna
that
hear
I
the
might
answer
be
or not?
wrong.
You wanna
Can
hear
you
the answer?
explain?
Do you want to hear the answer or
have
not?
all the truth in the world.
Do you want to
and
hear
don't
that?
have
Do you
the
want to
truth.
hear his answer or not?
Can you explain?
I don't care about
Can
his
you-
answer
can you
anymore.
explain?
Because all he says is stupid thing is in the
There you go.
Quran, and distort them enough so they
Distort them.
follow his own agenda. So they follow what you are
not
saying
even
that they
listening, mate.
mean.
Sure. Describe me a
afraid of
mountain.
It's very open
You know what?
to
Can
Can you
interpretation.
explain mosquitoes in the food?
Describes mountains.
Can you explain
You
mosquitoes?
describe.
I'm not an atheist either, by the way.
Describe to me a mountain from what you know from your knowledge.
Sounds like a-
Describe to me a
Can you
mountain.
explain mosquitoes in the food has
Like
the
this is the
Everest
is the
medicine
mountains
and the
of-
poison?
The mountains of Everest were formed because India
Not how it's formed.
was a separated continent that went, it moved
I'm not asking
with
you how
the
it's formed.
tectonic movement. It moved inside the continent
You're
of
asking me
Asia,
how it's
and
formed.
together they gradually increased the height of the mountains. That's why the
So the mountain is a landmass, which is elevation from the surface up to even could be the miles and so on, right?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Right. That's incorrect in most cases. You know why? Because mountains, what you see is only a tip of the iceberg. Mountains, most of it is actually derivation downwards.
That's what I told you. When tectonic plates collide within each other, they start, kind of wrinkling up together, and they start forming mountains.
So give me
That's how every single mountain in the world is
so
formed.
a visual picture of a mountain, if you were to draw, would you draw like this and like
No,
that?
they are
You go-
tectonic plates that collide within each other and start rising into
Different
mountains.
after
Or
collision.
one
Some rise
slides
up.
on top of one of
Excuse
them.
me. After
Some
collision,
collapses,
after
some
collision.
rising up.
Sometimes both of them rise. Sometimes one collapses, the other rises.
Okay, my friend, tectonic plates. Did we know the existence of tectonic plates 1,000 years ago? You'd say, yeah, the Greeks.
As far as I know, we didn't, but
Good.
we might.
Right. Suppose now you're describing mountains.
Okay.
Would you describe mountains with tectonic plates? Very unlikely. So you describe mountains what you see. And
I just described you the tectonic plates. That means I
if you
know
was back
about
then, if you was back then 1,000
fair
years ago,
enough. I might
Quran
not
is
know about
1,434 years ago, right?
Fair
Or
enough.
even more, longer. So if you were to describe a mountain 1,000 years ago, of course you'd not be using the tectonic plates. You would say something like, this mountain is a surface elevation of this material of rocks or whatever going up to a certain height, to very high and so on and so forth. Right? Would you ever, think about this now, very, 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 very sincerely, would you ever have described this mountain that actually most of the mountain is a derivation downwards?
Probably wouldn't. I don't think
Probably-
I don't think they had the means to see that.
Very good.
To have enough evidence to see it.
Very
that
good.
way.
That's very good. That's my point.
what are you gonna say? The Quran explains
when the
it like
Quran
that.
describes a mountain, and it says the mountains God made like autad, like a peg. When it gives you an analogy of a description to understand what this shape is. A peg, when you erect a tent, you put the peg, most of it on the ground, and only part of it overground. So Quran describes the mountain like a peg. Look how accurate the description of the mountain body is. There was no sonar and sonography. He couldn't dig up and say, this mountain's actually at the bottom. So these illustrations, two illustrations so far, one about the skin sensation, the pain sensation, and about mountains, is something that you would say even common sense knowledge would not come to this understanding.
People had third-degree burns back then. People did have it. People knew that you pass out if you have third-degree burns. You pass out. You stop feeling anything because you pass out.
And when you come back,
That doesn't mean your nerves
no,
stop.
and when you come back, why isn't there medical literature from the Greeks and the Romans and from the
If you treat
ancient
the body
Chinese?
well enough,
wait,
when you're passed out,
One moment.
you will wake up and you will feel pain if they're treated. If they're
Why
not
don't you
treated,
do me
you
a
will
favor?
die.
From the medical history of the literature that has been surviving to our day, history of the knowledge of the Greeks and the Romans and the Persians and the Chinese and the Hindus and other civilizations. Why don't you do me a favor? Find me a text where they talked about this nerve endings and sensation of pain when you have a third-degree burn. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I would like to see it. Because the Quran, I've given you two examples. I can give you 3, 4, 5, 20, 25, 30. And the reason why it is statistically significant and meaningful is this is the reason. To make a prediction just by guesswork, the probability is 1/2, 50-50, for any situation to get it right. If you have two situations, it's 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. If you have 20 situations, and you want to get all of them correct without making a mistake, the probability of getting it right is 1/1,000,000, more than 1,000,000. And getting it wrong is 1,000,000 chances. The Quran doesn't only have 20 examples. I've got several in my iPad. Various examples. The point being is, why and how does the Quran talk about so many things about natural phenomena, about agriculture, about science, anthropology, history, economics? That drop, the way it's described, like when you have water in your head and a drop dripping like a very spherical.
It's far more complicated than
Hang
that.
on.
It's a very rudimentary explanation.
It's not rudimentary explanation. The word nutfa is how they understood the Arabs. The nutfa is whatever, if you have a bucket of water and you empty it and whatever's remained, if you drop, that's the nutfa. The nutfa can be described in shape now, in 3 dimension. And this is exactly how the embryo is in its initial
No, it's
stage.
not. The embryo is a circle. It's not a drop.
Already look at.
When you look at
That's not
the drop,
evidence. It
you're not
doesn't
saying the drop as in it's dropping. When you have a drop, it's a spherical object. It's a spherical shape. This is then
Fine. When
mentioned.
it's drop, in the exact moment when it's
Yeah.
dropping, you mean? Okay.
No, it says it's like a nutfa. Then the nutfa was created into a alaqa. An alaqa in the Arabic language
What is
has
the alaqa? Yeah.
quite a few different meanings. Something that clings, something that hangs, something that resembles like a conjugal blood. Okay, something that look like a leech. Every single meaning of the word alaqa is correct for the human embryo description. Every single meaning,
Alaqa
because
means
the embryo. Do you speak Arabic?
I know what it means.
Do you speak Arabic?
We just discussed.
No, do you speak Arabic?
Alaqa means hanging down from a point.
No, you're mistaken.
Is in
The
Alaqa
word-
Surah 96
That's
verse
the wrong
2.
person to have when you're making
96
stuff.
verse 2 says, we created
Okay, this is the
insan
problem with Christian missionaries.
from alaqa. That means
Listen.
hanging down from something.
Where does it say it's alaqa? It doesn't say alaqa.
Surah 96
Go show
verse
it.
2.
I'll just show him how he's totally wrong.
Nah, guys, I'm out.
Hang on,
Religious discussions are not
No,
with me.
hang on.
Alaqa means
Wait.
hanging down.
Wait.
We
I'll
created
just say one
insan
last thing.
No.
I think it's
from
I think
something
you're
hanging
being
down.
very
First of all, excuse me.
disrespectful to your own people.
Excuse
You
me.
associate all the success
Now,
the
listen.
Arabs had to Islam itself.
Well,
You've been very
I
unfair.
don't associate their
This
success
man
with Islam. I associate
contended.
their
Listen,
success
listen,
with
listen.
their ability.
This
And that's the
man
last thing I have
just
to say.
contended saying it says alaqa in Surah number 96. I will just demonstrate to him how
Surah
he was
96 verse
how he's totally wrong. Surah number what?
96 verse 2.
Okay.
Alaqa. Surah Alaqa verse 2 says, Alaqa, I have my dictionary.
Bring your
It
dictionary.
says, hanging down, something hanging down from a point. We created insan,
Wait,
that is man,
Do you speak Arabic?
from something
No.
down.
Wait.
Hanging down.
Excuse me. Now, my friend, listen. Wait. Now, hear me out, right? Listen. Could you, brother, just recite this ayah?
خلق الإنسان من علق.
Min
علق.
alaq. Is it alaq or alaqa?
Alaqa, molak something. Come in.
Hang on. You claim,
More different then.
you erroneously, deceptively claimed it was alaqa when it's alaq, right? So
Alaq,
you're
yeah,
mistaken.
The root, Mansur.
Look. The root word alaqa
Is
from Arabic dictionaries means what? Tell me. What does it
means
mean?
hanging down from one point.
And what are the other meanings? I mentioned that already, hanging. And what are the other meanings?
The second is
What are the other meanings?
There is only one meaning.
Grow up.
You misinterpreted it. The second meaning is embryo.
Excuse me.
The other
Now,
meaning is the blood.
the reason why we don't
Which
speak
is
to these
not-
people here, because they demonstrate their level of ignorance in Speaker's Corner.
No, man, I don't know about
Look,
Alaq,
hang on,
all this
look.
stuff. I don't know anything about
Wait,
it. I don't
wait,
speak
wait.
Arabic.
Doesn't matter.
But listen, the thing is,
Look.
if you are basing scientific knowledge on a religious book, then I'm sorry, but that's not very reasonable. Nobody did that.
I've
and
just
succeeded
I've
with
just
it.
given you
Europeans didn't succeed with it.
I have just given you examples of physical phenomena described in the Quran which you would say astonishing to the least.
Listen, one of them,
Whether you like
one
it or
of them,
not.
I debunked it.
Which one did you debunk?
The one about burning yourself.
How did you debunk it?
Because
Are we living in a different world?
People already knew that if you burn a person,
Which people
enough
knew? Which people knew?
in the ancient world,
Give me a reference.
but the Persians, the
Give me a
Greeks,
reference from the Persians.
ancient Egyptians.
No, give me a reference from them.
reference, man. They knew.
No, give me a reference. You know what? They knew about robots and bacteria. They knew about computers. Yeah?
No, they didn't.
They knew, man. They knew.
Robots.
Yeah, they knew.
Yeah, sure they did.
Do you want any reference or you accept it from me?
What are you gonna tell me to?
Hang on. Would you just accept it from me or would you want some references? They knew about robots.
No, man, it
They knew
makes
about
no
iPhones.
Sense.
Hang
It
on.
makes no sense.
They knew about iPhones.
Listen, it's reasonable
Excuse
to
me.
believe.
Hang on.
Okay.
Now-
Think with me for
No,
a
no,
second.
no.
Think with me. You
Now
don't need-
you're
you don't
resorting
need
to
solid
common
proof.
sense.
You don't need. No,
Let's come
wait,
back to the
bro,
skin
bro,
burn.
wait. Guys, let me just finish one thing. You don't need solid proof to know that people knew what would happen when you get burned. Because that's obvious. That's like, hitting your hand with a hammer. What
you
will
don't need a
happen? You
miracle.
crush your
You
hand.
don't need a miracle.
You don't need proof. You don't need solid proof of that. Obviously they knew because they burned animals. They burned each other. They burned... Dude, it was
get burned
happening all
accidentally.
over the world. How can you say that they didn't know what happens when you burn the
Mansur,
person
when he
enough?
said we will
the person
replace
goes
the
into
skin-
internal shock. It goes into a shock. The person passes out and then the person dies if he or she is not treated properly. How can you have the audacity to say that? I need solid proof of that. That's obvious. That's like hammering a nail into the person's
illogical
hand.
fallacy
No,
you're
wait,
committing
man,
is
wait,
this.
Wait. That's like
you
saying,
think by common sense,
like saying,
I would say they had computers.
That's like saying
and
that the
iPhones.
Bible is completely wrong, and I'm not defending the
Listen,
Bible.
listen,
I'm
listen.
not defending the Bible.
Mansur,
That's
you-
like saying the Bible is
so
wrong
far,
because
my friend.
it says that they hammered a
friend.
nail into Jesus Christ's
friend,
hand,
my friend.
and then you say, "Oh, show me evidence that if you hammer, that they knew
Did-
that if you hammer a nail into someone's hand,
Is it common
gets
sense?
hammered.
Is it common sense
It
to
pierces
believe?
the hand.
Is it common sense to believe the universe is expanding? Look at this guy. Day and night. Is he expanding?
Okay, so Allah is expanding.
No. Is he expanding?
Well, the universe.
To you, is the universe expanding?
I think so. Yes.
If you look at it, can you see it by common sense as well?
No.
So how would you arrive to that conclusion?
Because there are people who, for example, astrologists who study the planets and the stars, and they have, they have.
What did the Greeks believe?
observed them for long enough.
What
to
did the
know
Greeks
that.
believe?
What do you mean? What the Greeks?
The Greeks studied these stars. What did they believe? The universe expanding or is it static?
I don't know. Probably they didn't think it was expanding.
It
They
wasn't
didn't have the
expanding.
means.
So now your common sense and your experience of the Greeks doesn't help. in
Yes,
this.
you're going to give me another example.
I've
from
just
the
told
Quran,
you.
and that is going to be very, very,
No,
peripherically
my friend,
linked.
Let
I
me
am
say it.
simply
I'm gonna answer it.
The actual
demonstrating to you you're appealing to common sense and historical experience of certain knowledgeable people like the Greeks and the Romans doesn't
No,
help
I'm appealing
because
to
they
common sense, to
believed
things that
in
are
a
common
static
sense.
universe. Universe is all that was.
You can't compare the consequence of a person getting burned with the expansion
I
of
just
the
told-
universe. One is common sense, the other is only known by very few people that actually
Okay.
study that stuff.
One second. Is it not common sense when you urinate standing, all the urine comes to you on your trousers? Is it common sense?
Urinate against the wind, it does.
No. When there's no wind and you're standing and urinating, does the urine come back to you on your trousers?
No. No, because you urinate. What kind of example is that?
Common sense.
Are you joking right now?
Do you know, I work in the health industry, right?
Yeah, but if you urinate against the wind, it does get into
Listen,
your
I work in a hospital. Studies have been done, my friend. Yep. You can drink something and die, and it comes to your urine, and you can see through ultraviolet picture later on. When you urinate in the commoster, they're standing, the urine spray comes back to you on yourself.
What, when it hits the floor and some of it sprays back onto you?
A lot of it sprays back to you.
Not all of it, man. If you urinate forward, it goes
Right.
forward. It doesn't go back.
Where is the common sense of preventing that? If common sense was something that people would use, where was the common sense?
I give up.
Why did people not use common sense
I
to
give
stop
up.
this contamination of urine?
This guy is saying that if you urinate forward, the urine comes back to you, and that's common sense.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
Let me tell you something.
I'm sorry.
Allah tells us.
Yeah, Allah tells
He
us.
guides whoever He guides,
Maybe you
but He
should
does
go
not
to the
guide.
doctor if Allah
Allah does not guide people who are unjust, who are
Allah
insincere. Allah does not guide
It's not a
Okay,
biblical
guys.
who
Allah.
are unjust,
It's not
who are
biblical God.
insincere. So this may be a reflection
different
point
God.
for you. So I leave that here for now, and I think we have talked enough. And I've realized how you're being very reluctant to common sense, reluctant to history, reluctant to science. May Allah guide us all. That's all I can say.
No,
Nice
not
talking to you.
relevant to your version.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, guys, have fun.
In Quran, Dulkarnain sees the sun setting in a mud. How do you find the science in this?
So let me respond, right? Imagine I'm Dhul-Qarnayn. I go to a place like a sea beach, right? And I see the sun setting in the sea. And I describe to you later on. What's your name? Hussein. I sent a text, an email, or WhatsApp to Hussein. Hussein, I found the sun, a beautiful sun, setting in the ocean. Would I be wrong?
You will be wrong. Is Allah wrong?
I'll be wrong. Khalas.
Allah wrong.
No, you're wrong.